but I need to trust my setups and just trust myself.
It really opened my eyes to, okay, this is the potential of the market, and okay, here's how I need to adapt my setups and adapt the way I think and the way I look at the market. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Gen Traders YouTube channel. You're probably wondering, where the heck have you guys been? It's been 3 weeks since we made an episode. It is Saturday, October 23rd. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot of good content packed in this episode right here. A lot of things are changing, obviously, and it's me, Alex, and James today. So without further ado, we're just going to get right into this episode. It's been a long time since we've recorded, so we've got a lot on our minds. Like I just said before, we're going to talk about the market, talk about how our week is going, some trades, and then we're going to get into open discussion about whatever is on our mind. And yeah, hopefully we can get a lot of good info in here, and it's going to help us to help you and have it help us as well. So let's get right into it. Alex is going to talk about the OTC market. So Alex, go right ahead.
Okay, so in the last episode, which was in the end of September, I said that the market starts to heat up because there were a lot of trades that week and the 2 last weeks of September. I was very hyped, and now the October started and nothing. Literally every day, there was one tweet that I retweeted. Like sometimes I wake up, open my screens, and just say, "What the hell am I doing?" And like the last 2 weeks, that's like every day, like nothing is there, almost nothing. I mean, yeah, there are a few solid trades, and it's not an excuse to miss them, obviously, but like it's not what I thought, what I expected for October. I mean, of course, October is slow. Everyone knows that, but September I think they just faked out us. I think especially particularly in OTCs. So yeah, I haven't made one solid trade all of October, so I don't know. I have no expectations for the next week, but I have expectations for November. So yeah, I mean, there were some few solid trades that I will recap. I'll just mostly talk about the missed trades. So yeah.
Gotcha. The listed market, especially small caps, was completely dead for the first 3 weeks of October until Thursday. Thursday, DWAC, PHUN, freaking Prague, GROM, MDIA, SGAM, all these freaking random stocks and even the warrants were going crazy. DWAC's warrant, PHUN's warrant, GROM's warrant, all these were going crazy, spiking at the same time. Action we haven't seen in a very, very long time, and it lasted about a whole 2 hours. So yeah, that was all stemmed from DWAC, which was Donald Trump's merger company of his new social media platform that is coming out, and it just went absolutely bonkers. It topped out at exactly 175 yesterday, and yeah, like I said, small caps, especially the past few weeks, have been very, very slow. Hopefully this can ignite the market, get some new traders involved, get maybe some people back that used to trade that didn't anymore, and get some more attention in the market. And that will also help the OTC market as well. So hopefully one thing just leads to another domino effect and the market starts to heat up for real this time, because we got a big catalyst. We got some big runners, and yeah, we're reacting to see what it brings next week with all this big volume. So
I want to add that Donald Trump stock, it actually killed OTC market for Tuesday and February and Friday. Like literally everyone was trading that, so nobody was trading OTC. There wasn't even one runner like on Thursday and Friday. So
except for GBHL, that one was a sympathy play.
Well, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously
they all died after morning. So
literally everybody and their mother was trading DWAC, and I mean and their mothers, like actually their mothers. Bryce and Matt were saying on Small Cap Recap how they knew people that were letting them know that their mothers actually asked them to buy DWAC for them in their brokerage account. And yeah, dude, it was max euphoria from a lot of people with big volume. Not only mothers and dads. Too bad Josh isn't on this episode. He can't talk about his dad's trade, but yeah, that was interesting. We thought, oh yeah, there's no way it's gonna go any higher. Proceeded to triple from there. So
the day before Matt on the Small Cap recap, he said like I'll be surprised if tomorrow morning it won't be at 100.
Yeah.
And then little happened.
Seriously, man, can't expect anything because this was freaking bonkers. I don't think anybody expected it to hit 175.
Not at
So,
all.
Maybe.
James,
Not
you
at
got
all.
anything to add before we talk about how our week's going in trades?
The market, it's just still a little hard, even though it's extremely hot. I mean, Friday was like really the first day where more than one ticker went up 300%. There was, we had every single one, Prague, Grom, everything ran up. It's still pretty hard, but I think it'll get easier. I think it'll get easier next week, to be honest. That's all. But this week was still really hard, even though we had those 5, 6 huge runners. If you missed them, I mean, I didn't trade any of them, but I mean, I don't really regret not trading any of them. It's just every 2 seconds you were stuck in a halt for like 15, 20 minutes. So it was just really hard on Friday, but I think it'll get easier.
Gotcha, for sure. Hopefully, volume comes in.
Mhm.
So if that's all we got for the markets, Alex is going to start off talking about how his week went and then talk about his trades. And I know he's got a lot of charts to go over, so pay attention. Alex has got the technicals in here, and take it away.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, first I'll talk about my trades, actual trades. Okay. So, on the last episode, I remember that in the end, I said that because remember at that time I was playing swings because they were like the markets were good for that. So I had remember that I had an entry here on this the INTV here,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I used small position, and then I said like we could run like huge because it was a crypto stock and crypto were running that like week. So I was expecting like the move from here and then the next day just so we can see.
Wait, Alex, touch quick on how this week went first, like just really fast.
Well, I'll go.
Yeah, if you
week
didn't
by
already.
week. I can go week by
Oh,
week.
you're gonna week by week. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
so that
Gotcha.
week, yeah, that week wasn't good at all. So this trade, this was a 1 hour loss. Then I had another 1 hour loss. So there's literally I started the week with 2 hour losses, and then that's basically. Let me see. So that week I had just 3 trades. So this was on one of them. Yeah, and so all the weeks were slow. I didn't have a good trade, so yeah. I want to quickly go over this one. So yeah, I had an entry here. So yeah, remember I said it was very illiquid, and the next day just had a huge panic. Like my risk was this, but but I had no chance to exit. But I'm glad to use small position, so I exited right here. Yeah, it was just very unfortunate, but like whatever, I just cut it. Then so yeah, that's just started the week right away with a like $26 loss, I think, and my risk is 25, so yeah. Then my next trade was on Tuesday that week, and this is also like I expected something. I don't know. Look, I had a nice entry here on the trigger break, and then it just never spiked, and I sold here because I was scared of the overnights in this market. Then we had a little gap up and again weakness. So this wasn't even a 1 hour win. So yeah, it was a multi-day breakout, I think, on the daily chart. Yeah. So okay. So it was like a potential wage break. You see the trend change.
Mhm.
And the last trade that I will talk about is this one. So this one I'm very pissed about
Mm-hmm.
because I recognize this very early. You see here, look, this is like beautiful wage breakout here,
Nice.
like Taylor says. So so here on this day, I saw it on this day, and I wanted to enter at 210, but I don't know, I just hesitated, so I didn't enter. But then I had an entry later here. Let's see. Here. So see, this was the entry because this was a multi-day resistance level. So even though it wasn't like a clear entry, I should have still entered it because the risk was very tight here. So yeah, then I entered here just late day with a small position. And then I sold half of it because I was, still scared of the overnights.
Mhm.
even though probably I should have held because I had small positions, so even if it panicked, that would have been still 1 hour loss. But anyways, so the next day we had a nice move, and I held through all this, and then for some reason I moved my risk from low day to this low. I don't know why. I think the only reason because this was an F ticker, so it was moving very differently. Because remember on TLSS, I learned the lesson that you should stick to the risk, but here it was very like the level 2 was different, like everything was different. Because I learned that on F tickers, they just move the stock using the level 2, just the volume doesn't matter. So yeah, it was very strange. And the next day it broke my risk, but never broke the low day. And I even wrote the sticker note here. I said on swing breakouts, a risk low day, and just stick to it. Just stick to it because look, my plan was to just hold for I don't know 10 days, just as long as they didn't break my risk. So see, what broke my risk must have kept same risk because it then spiked. It never broke risk, and then the next few days it just goes up, up, and up. Look, just this is so easy. Look, this was my entry from here, and then all the way here I could have just rolled it up without even breaking any risk. That would have been like I don't know, like 5 hour maybe, like one to 5. Yeah, so I learned a lesson here because now I have 2 examples, TLSS and Liev or whatever, just on the swing breakouts, how you should play them. So yeah, I mean, I prefer regular stocks, not F tickers, but I mean, you have to learn both. So yeah, this was like a very small gain, I think. Yeah, like a very small gain, but obviously that doesn't matter. The executions will matter.
Right.
And then
Alex, sorry, go ahead. I was
yeah,
going to add something. I was going to say something. It's nice to note that you're using a 15-minute chart to look at this recap here.
Awesome.
Alex has definitely noticed, and I've noticed it as well, that sometimes 1-minute charts are just so choppy and so hard to get this trigger entry that Alex loves that he needs to start looking at a 5-minute chart or a 15-minute chart or a 3-minute chart. And yeah, he's probably going to go over this one too.
Yes.
So yeah.
Oh, this was. Oh, and I also have. So I have like a criteria for breakouts, and let me show you. So this is breakout, right? See how this like it's very easy. I don't even have to explain anything here. So yeah, just entry here, and sometimes you can risk this low, but if it's like very rangy, then you have to risk it. So this was perfectly perfectly presented here, and of course I missed this. Let's see this one. Yeah. Okay, here.
Wow.
Oh wait, let's first go over the daily chart because it's very important. Yeah, not this. This was a small loss here on the first green day. So here, look, we have the first run, then a little consolidation, and then the break. And if we go to the 50-minute chart, you will see. See right here, when it's spike, you have to either enter right here. So if we do this,
clean.
So this is the consolidation, and here is the entry here or here on this. So yeah, and then I have the notes. Yeah, a lot of traders had a nice trades on this, and this is another example why you shouldn't hold overnight because it had a perfect close. Look, and the next day, that candle. So yeah, I was watching it all this day, but I didn't have all these lines.
Perfect close, ugly out the open.
I didn't recognize anything. So this was a multi-day resistance, not like a breaker level, because the breaker level was 37, but it wasn't like a clean. It was just one gap candle. So yeah, the entry was here. Even I mean, it was midday, so maybe not. Actually, the textbook entry is here. If this is the text, yeah, Garrick told me this is the textbook entry. So yeah, just risk like the risk was still pretty wide, 6.7%, and then it still runs like nice. I mean, if you had just this entry, the risk reward wasn't that great, but if you entered earlier on this wedge breaker, then the risk reward was like 4, 6. So yeah, this was a textbook. Like it wasn't like a big picture trade. It was just a quick single. So yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes quick singles are the way to go.
yes.
I agree with that.
The next one was on. Okay, so I was watching this for a swing, right, out of this wedge. So look, if you bought it right here, that would be 50% gain right here on the top. I mean, obviously you don't sell top, but I'm just saying that this was one of them that I wanted to swing. But if you look at the way it broke out on this day, this was on 8th. Look, just out of nowhere. So there wasn't a way to like enter this and for a swing. I don't know, because this was very choppy and yeah. But the trade on this was on 12. This was a breakout over this here. And I was also watching that. This was, I think, like the risk reward was good here. Yeah. So you just enter here at 12 in the morning, risk low day, and then just for me personally, I think I would have sold here and then I would have held probably overnight. Yeah, most likely. Even though, because I like to hold overnight when I have a cushion. Like if I don't have anything, then I'm not gonna hold overnight. But if I had some like gains, then I'll just hold overnight because might as well get nice. So I would have probably sold into the panic here, but still that would be a nice gain. Yeah, and then okay, the next one is crazy. SHMB.
Oh yeah, this one was tight
Okay.
consolidation.
So look, this is right here. I was watching for a breakout, right? All this, what is this? It's like a month, 2 months. I was watching for a breakout. See, this one was too early. That's why it failed. And then when it broke down, I was like, okay, now it's done. I removed it from my watch list. And then on this day, I was like, I saw it on my scanners. I feel like SHMB moving. I'm like, what? I thought like it's dead. So you see it here on 15th, on 18th. Here it had like a what? It had like a gap up, and then this right here. Look at this. This is like so tight.
Oh, wow.
And I remember, so I saw it after someone alerted that they entered at 4. So I was like, okay, now I missed it. And the thing is, okay, this is interesting. No, not this one.
That is freaking risk reward right there.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
my bad. So this one. So yeah, the entry was the perfect. I mean, obviously entry was at 4, but one, so I missed it. And at that time, the ask was at 403. And you might ask, like, so you didn't enter because there was like 3 cents more than the entry. But that's not the point, because I calculate my position shares every time. And with the 4 entry and 403 entry, like everything would have been different. The risk reward, it wouldn't be that big. It would have been like, I mean, still solid, but I didn't expect it to run that much, obviously. So my target was like 44 maybe. So that wouldn't be like a huge risk reward, and that's why I wanted to dip. But obviously, every time I want to dip, it never dips. So it just started to consolidate at 41, then had another one here, and then the risk reward here is huge. And the position shots that I could have used, I mean, it's just scary to even imagine. Because it's like with $1 risk, a 1% risk, it could be like $2,000 position with $20 risk. So yeah, this one is just crazy. And look at this, the breakout just into the close, and then the gap. Like I didn't expect that. I didn't expect a huge gap from
Beautiful.
45 to 50, then spike, and then another spike. Yeah, this one's crazy.
So clean.
Yeah, I printed that chart.
I remember checking up on it mid to late day, and I saw that it was just no volume, and I was just like, oh yeah, there's nothing there, and I turned it off.
Yeah.
Then I didn't look at the big picture, like, oh, this consolidation, oh, multi-day breakout for multi-month breakout.
So now we're gonna go to this one, and this is when I'm gonna use 15-minute chart. So this is also like another one of those setups. We have a first move, then hold even more than half of the spike. Then this consolidation here. Here it doesn't look that good, but if you go to this chart, 30-minute chart, it looks beautiful. Look here, right here, this nice consolidation here. And so on this day, you see this day, I had a plan. I told it to some traders on 12th. I said that I want to enter. Yeah, here. I said I want to enter above 72 here. And the only reason why I didn't is because I had to use E-Trade for this. Because and I had money on E-Trade, but I was like, oh, commissions, I don't want. So the one thing that I noticed, so remember before I never cared about commissions, right? But now I care that I don't have them. Like I care too much that I don't have them. That makes me scared to have them again. And yeah, this is very, very bad. I'm gonna bring back my mindset of don't give a F about commissions again, because I missed a lot of good trades because of the commissions, because I thought like, oh, it's not worth it, you know. So yeah, that would be like a beautiful plan. Enter at 72, risk probably low day. Yeah, probably it's fine. Probably low day. So yeah, if we go to like, look, this looks very clean. Look, and I have the notes. Just look at this. I mean, this is beautiful. It held half of the spike, then had a nice wedge here, and then this entry right here, or even the next day in the morning, and the risk reward is big here. Spikes like 30%. So yeah, and then it also had a move here. I also missed that one, but it just fell the next day. You see, like all the attention was on the listed market that this day, so it just failed. I guess that's why. So this was an a setup too, and so the only important thing for me is that I recognize that. I recognize that, but I didn't use because you know the just the not emotions, but you know I didn't want to have commissions, but obviously it doesn't matter. SFR has the same 50-minute chart look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think this was the one with the 5 minute, the one that was choppy with the 5 minutes.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. So this one, so this is what I saw on the during last weekends, right? And I told myself, I'm not gonna miss this. I told it to myself when I was looking at this, because I knew this was coming. Like, I'm not gonna miss this. And then what? Obviously I missed this. He had like, this is just so beautiful. Oh, it hurts to watch this. Because yeah, on the daily, there was so choppy. Look.
Yeah.
Look, like, what is this? And even so look. This is what, like, what is this? Because yeah, this looks so choppy.
Bunch of scribbles. But not when you look at the 5 minute chart. Yeah. Nice and swift on there.
Yeah, even 3 minutes. Look.
3 minutes.
Look, this is nice.
That's better. Look at that.
If we go to 5 minutes, this is just look.
That's the best one right there.
Yeah. So the guy just enter here at 86, above high day, risk 4%, and the risk reward is beautiful. I mean, it still failed the next day, but it still had a nice spike. So what I would done, I would probably sold here third, then here third, somewhere here, and then into the weakness probably. Yeah. So this was very unfortunate that I missed this, because I mean a lot of traders also missed this because of the choppiness on the 1 minute chart. But I learned it when I played this, because that would, like, in the morning it was so choppy. I should have just changed the chart. Yeah. So yeah. This was, and the last one. Oh, not the last one. Okay, this is another one that I missed because E-Trade. I mean, look, every time same thing, you know, consolidation and break. And look, this is like 50% spike here. And I think I also recognize that. Yeah, just all of them I recognize. So that's at least something. Look, like always, we have tight consolidation. And then here, on this day in the morning when I started to spike, I said in the chat, like I would be entering here if I could have used Schwab. But I mean, bro, you have E-Trade too, so here in the morning, right when it spiked above 12, I would have entered, risking low day, obviously, and just rolled it up all the way. So here in the morning, you had a weakness, but I remember I said you have to risk the same risk level, so probably I would have risked the same low day, and then we would have got, oh, actually could almost touch the low day previous day. So I don't know about that. Maybe I would have sold because the market, but it then spiked to 17. So
Mhm.
yeah, this was a big runner. And now last one.
Last
There's
one.
a lot of charts.
Oh, yep.
So this one, yeah, this one I saw somewhere here after this one thing break, this one candle, and I was looking for a 6-5 break, and also this was a wedge break too. So it was like the next move, you know. And obviously I recognized the early entry this day. So this was on Thursday. I said in the chat, I said here, I said I would be entering here, risking low day and just getting a starter. Because you know you don't have any conviction and confirmation here. Just this is like because it had a small trigger. Like with each rate chart, it was looking like a small trigger here. It was like a candle from here to here. So and the ask was 624, so I would have answered at 624, risking low day and C never broke my risk and then 8R. This was because on Friday nothing was moving, so that was the only thing was moving, and then C it even also died, like in the market, everything died. But I would have obviously locked in some here and then still some here, but still that would have been like a nice gain. And instead I had like a few trades on other ideal setups. Yeah, I'm just red this week. The 3 trades, 3 losses. Yeah, this is very hard for me. Well,
That is okay. That is completely okay because one good win will wipe it all out.
yeah, that's 100%.
Mm-hmm.
The whole month right now is okay because of my TLSS trade because it comes on October, so it literally just holds that, you know.
You're probably
Just-
break even right now from that.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a
seriously.
little. It just
That's the
because
power
you
of
get
risk
a
reward,
one
guys.
trade. Yeah, I had,
Alex
like,
has one trade make up like 6 or 7 other trades. That's freaking awesome.
yeah, like one trade, 6 trades. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I had
that's freaking awesome.
6 losses this month, and that one trade until it says was more than that all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, see, there were some sold trades, so no excuse for missing them. But what can I do? You know, just trying to learn this every day.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to miss them, but I don't know.
And see, as you guys can see, these multi-day breakouts that Alex has shown over 10 different tickers probably just now. I didn't count the exact amount, but he's showing that they're all the same setup. They have the spike, they consolidate, and then they break. And the power of OTCs, where the most of the opportunity comes in, is on these multi-day breakouts.
Yeah.
Listed stocks, breakouts, honestly kind of suck. They'll hit it and then they'll go barely over, they'll retest it, they'll dip below, and then they'll maybe come back and chop. But OTCs, when a multi-day breakout is there, they will freaking hit that breakout. Once they break through that, it's and as you can see, over. That is what Alex has shown with all these. All you have to do is have patience and risk management, like Alex says. And these were all of his missed trades. He's just waiting for the hot market to come back, and look forward to episodes in the future because Alex is going to be going over just as many charts and be like, I swung this, I entered this at the same time I was holding this. Yeah, that's just awesome.
And the one point that you said is like multi-day patterns is, I remember Jack, he always said like, I like to play multi-day setups, not just like one-day runners. And I didn't really get that at that time because I also was playing like this first green days, like, you know, oh, actually, yeah, let's quickly just show this. This this is
this was a sympathy play to DWAC, the Trump
this
stock.
was huge. Yeah, this was like what, like 500%.
It's been a long time since we've seen that.
And I know one trader, he was looking at this chart for this breakout.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, he didn't even see like the news, nothing. So, oh my God, look at
was
this
that
candle.
Varun?
Look at this. Yeah, look at this candle, boy.
Yeah, that's just ugly on the daily.
Yeah,
but intraday, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's all of my trades and miss trades for this week and 3 weeks. So yeah, very, very, very hopeful for some, I don't know, action for the next week and next month. So yeah, let's see what lands got.
Yeah, awesome. Great job, Alex. So I'm going to go next. Alex did super awesome with the technicals in his charts. I'm going to be less technical. I'm only going to go over one chart. I'm going to be less technical and more psychological, more mental. and more of a brain dump what's on my mind, because it helps me to vent to you guys on these episodes, because other than that, I'm just talking to myself. And it feels better if I could talk to you guys and to the viewers also. So last time you guys saw me on these episodes, I was like, oh yeah, 80% win rate. I'm doing freaking awesome. 2-to-1 risk reward average. And I'm just, everything's good and I'm ready, right? That very next week, on Tuesday, I noticed that my mental state was the worst that I've ever felt ever since I started trading. And then the worst thing that I did was I just kept saying, oh, I'll worry about it on the weekend. Oh, I'll worry about it this day. Oh, I'll worry about it this day. Instead of fixing my burnout, because burnout is so important. Every trader is going to go through it at least once in their journey. It got to the point where I couldn't do any of my college coursework. I barely could form simple sentences. I couldn't even follow my own rules. I couldn't get out of my own way. I think I took 8 trades that week and was red on every single one, because I couldn't even think straight, man. Like, it got to the point where that after the end of that week, after I said multiple days that, oh, I'll just worry about it later, that Friday in the middle of the trading day, dude, I literally couldn't do anything. Like, it was the weirdest feeling I ever felt in my entire life. That week was absolutely terrible. I ended up losing 5R on the week, which it honestly could have been worse. But I don't care about that. What I care about is that for so long, I didn't care about mental health at all. And I thought that there was no difference between being lazy and making sure your mental health is in check. But it is so important that your mental health is in check. And obviously that doesn't mean just like taking a bunch of time off and doing like random shit, but taking dedicated time during the week to make sure that your mental health is in check. Now, once a week, I take like a half of a day to do something to completely clear my mind, to make sure that that never happens again, because I never want a week like that to happen ever again. So that was that week, completely burnt out. I ended up taking most of that entire weekend off of trading completely, came back the next week. And so yeah, that was that week. Second week, which was 2 weeks ago, I only made 3 trades that week. And no, 2 trades that week. It was just super, super, super slow. I was being very, very selective. And yeah, nothing really to report. I think I was down 1R on that week on 2 trades. One was break even, one was a 1R loss. So nothing really special there. And then I'll branch off of what happened that week to this current week that just passed. My main struggle over the past 2 weeks has been making one part of my setup criteria more important in my head than another, which can never happen, because in order for it to be a good trade, all of that criteria has to be together and all of it has to be there in order for it to be a good trade. I was making one aspect in my head so much more important, and I'll give the exact example. I started looking for a new variation of a setup starting last week. It's been working well when I follow it. Last week, I made the mistake of focusing too much on the intraday and not enough on the multi-day trend. This week, I focused way too much on the multi-day trend and not enough on the intraday. This week, I found myself going back into trading stocks that were illiquid, had a really wide spread and low volume, which is like, and after I did that, I'm like, Lance, what the heck are you doing? That's like the thing you say day one, trade stuff that's liquid and has high volume, and you're over here making 2 trades this current week on stuff that's illiquid and with crappy volume. And I'm just like, no, like I can't make one part of my criteria more important than another. It all has to come together. And so I learned both versions of the mistake, both versions of the intraday and the multi-day for this new setup. And so now it's just putting those lessons together, making sure both of it's there. And when the intraday and the multi-day trend is set up, I'll go over that in a trade in a second. When it's there, trade it with no hesitation, just trade my setup, and that's that. I'll talk about the last little part of what I have to say during open discussion after James goes over his trades after this. But I'm just going to go over one of my trades really quick. This was on ATER on Tuesday. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is ATER. This was on Tuesday, which was the 19th. Let me start off with the daily. All right, so consolidation for multiple days, was looking for the big first green day on big volume. This was it right here. This was a multi-day breakout level, completely textbook after it was holding these lows right here, boom. Okay, anyways, moving on to the 15-day, 15-minute. This is in essence of what my new setup is catching.
Ooh.
A multi-day trend line that holds the high here of this day, the high here of this day, and just tightens up for the morning spike right here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go into the 1 minute. And this time you're not going to catch me clicking 1 day, 1 minute like I always do. Can't add that one to bloopers today. Anyways, here was the trade on Acer. And I did not like it out the gate. At first I thought, oh yeah, this spiked up way too fast, way too early, and I'm going to completely avoid this. The candles were choppy. The spread wasn't wide, but just the volume wasn't great. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to leave this alone for a while. I let it chop around, up and down, wick up and down around VWAP right in here. Then it set this low right here. Then it set this higher low right here. And I was like, okay, there's something here. Awesome. So I ended up waiting for the break of this multi-day trend line. I entered right here. I got to move our faces so I could see the prices. I ended up entering right here at 839, and I was risking right here at 826. So this was the perfect level that I knew I needed to risk in order to know if this was going to work or not. Anyways, got a quick little spike, little dip, and then I got this spike, and I ended up selling here because in the future, if I made this trade again, I definitely would not sell here. But given the market environment and given my history with this ticker has given me problems in the past. I've traded it. This was my 6th time trading it in the past few months. And it has given me problems. I'm going to be honest. When I thought the price action was doing one thing and it ends up faking me out. So I took my small gain and ended up being like little less than 1 R, but still waited for the spike, sold when there was weakness. Anyways, I should have been looking for a re-entry right here off of this wedge. This right here started making this wedge here perfectly. Then it ended up consolidating and spiking again. And now I have something to pull up. If you guys don't know who Dan Irish is, he is one of my favorite traders. And I would say he is the closest of who I want to emulate my strategy like. This was his trade on the exact same ticker. I actually recognized it before him and entered before him. But as you guys can see, I entered here and I sold here. Dan Irish entered right after the perfect wedge that I drew, and his patience spike, it held all through here, and then he sold right up here into the 950s. Absolutely beautiful patience and how he does this. This is exactly what I'm going to aim to emulate. My current plans right now for these big fixture moves intraday are to scale out 50% into this first push and then take out the rest when the next push comes. That's just what I'm doing. That's what I plan to do right now. But in the future, as that changes and I learn more about my setup. But as soon as I saw this on Dan's Twitter, let me just stop moving this around for a second to get it to a spot where, anyways, as soon as I saw this on Dan's Twitter, I was like, wow, because I didn't know that he made this exact trade. I didn't see it till the night after, and I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And then it made me say, like, in the next few months, I'm going to be going from trading like these little moves where I got out too quick, to bigger moves like this. Oh crap, that did not go very smoothly. To bigger moves like this, like Dan traded here.
Did he just did he scale out, or he just one in, one out?
He one's in, one's out. And I want to be able to one in, one out in the future. But for me, the only way I'm going to be able to start having the patience for these bigger picture moves is if I take a little bit off first.
Yeah, of course.
Just for me, like psychologically, until I have enough patience to be able to hold it all in one in and out, I'll be able to take a little bit off, and then I'll just be free riding for the rest until the chart gives me a reason to exit. So yeah, I didn't trade it nearly as well as I could have, but it was a small gain. I learned a ton of lessons from it. And as you guys can see, this is one of my favorite traders and how they trade. And then this is like how I traded and what I'm looking to do for the future. So yeah, I was super happy with that one. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Yeah, so then that was one of my trades from this week. The other two, like I said, I talked about earlier, I let more criteria. I took a total of 4 trades this week. I let one criteria get more in my head than the other. I traded 2 stocks that were illiquid, terrible volume, never should have made them. And then I had a small gain on DATS yesterday that I'm not going to go over, but I'm going to go over more of Friday when we get into open discussion later, and how I was feeling on Friday with the super hot market like I have never seen before personally. So yeah, I think that that's all I've got. I ended this week down $2.09. So that's that's definitely good there. So yeah, just next week I'm gonna make some changes, as I'm going to talk about in open discussion a little bit. But that's all I've got for my trades wise over the past few weeks. Just keeping it simple, focusing on the process, knowledge account, booming. So, James,
Yes.
Best way to do it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really save all my charts anymore. Like the stuff I trade on, I don't save everything. I just realized that. I thought I did. I guess I do not. So yeah.
Oh, you have them in the Discord,
James, you
no?
put them in your Discord room.
Yeah, I know, but I'm pretty sure I have like 1 or 2 that I missed. Maybe. I don't know for
That's
sure. I'm
fine.
gonna be honest. This is my trade on DATS. I don't remember what day I traded it, but it just had this random gap up out of nowhere from 9:45 to 12:15. So I was looking for an immediate first bounce because I thought that jump was amazing. So I took the first bounce over here at 11:56 was my entry, and I kind of scaled out. I bottom ticked it here, and then I top ticked my exit at 11.88, and then I sold more at $12 exactly, and I accidentally fat fingered right here, this green one. I didn't mean to, and I didn't know until I was down here. I didn't know that I got back in, so I was hella confused as to why like my P&L kept changing, and I was like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, that's not too bad. A bottom ticked. It was just a great first bounce for what, 40 cents per share, I think. What was it? From 40 to 12.09 or 12.10 was my last. So what is that? 60 cents, I think. 40. I don't know. It's like 40 to 60 cents per share. So it wasn't a bad trade at all. That one was probably the best one I've traded for the most per share. And then I have BBIG. When did I trade this one? Quite a while ago, I think.
Wow, you got a lot of lines, my guy.
Oh.
I do, because I have lines from a long time ago. But I just never delete my lines. That's my problem. I just keep them forever. BBIG was doing nothing throughout the entire day, and then it had a nice spike at the end of the day.
I don't know why that was funny.
First bounce. I was looking for a
I
first
just
bounce
keep them
on this one
forever.
as well. I mean, I don't know. I just don't delete them. Yeah, this one, it was okay. I mean, I wasn't looking for any profits. I only traded this with 3 shares. That's it, because I just wanted to see. The market was,
3 shares?
this was last week, I think, and the market was pretty damn weak last week, and first bounces failed. So I think I was watching first bounces the entire day. Yeah, this is one of those charts where I watched first bounces all day, and there was 10 or 15 tickers where they all failed. So I was just like, I'm not using any size, but I think BBIG has a nice first bounce. Like it's pretty extended here. Nice first bounce on 7.9. I got in, sold at $8, 8.02, 8.05, and then I was done. And then of course it just kept going higher, but I just didn't feel right because the whole market was bad, and I think I let that get to my head, which wasn't good. But I let it get to my head, and that kind of screwed me over just a tad. And then I traded JSPR. Where I trade this one at? Right here. Had a pretty beautiful, out of nowhere pre-market. It didn't do anything for the rest of the day, and it was complete garbage. And I was like, okay, I really like this little pop and this little spike right here. So yeah, I know I have a lot of lines on this one at every 50 cents. I don't remember why I did it, but I just put it at every single 50 cents, and I don't know why. I I didn't use any size on this one. I used one share, and I got in at 17, and I sold at 17.24, 25-ish, 25 cents per share. I definitely could have held for longer. This was another one. This was the same week where first bounces weren't working at all. So I was just like, I don't really want to risk any size, but I want to test to see if first bounces are working a little bit, and they are. So of course I regret not holding it, but at the end of the day, it's like, oh well, it's not the biggest deal. I'm kind of just, I haven't used my full size since September. I have not
Why
used
not?
a single trade because I don't know. I just haven't loved anything. Like there's just nothing lately that has been worth my like max risk. But I think that's going to change this week.
What's your current risk level?
I don't really have one. I'm going to be honest. I'm still working on that, but it's usually like $10 to $20 is my like all I want to risk. That's it. No more.
It's actually the same for me, like one of my problems.
Yeah, like that's my biggest problem. I don't really have like a dollar, like a set risk level yet, but I'll get there. This is HX. HX was just a monster. We went from freaking $10 all the way to 20, 21. Traded it for another first bounce.
It's the one that had 3 huge green days, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the one that the boy in Twitter is like a really tall short.
Exactly. Yeah, this one. I mean, I used 2 shares for this one. I think I used 2 or 3. Got in at 17, sold at 17.26. I sold literally top ticked right at 17 for break even. I just didn't think it was gonna work, and then of course came all the way down here, and it ended up working in hindsight. But one thing that I'm noticing with some of my tickers though is like I sell super early, but they tend to keep going. I sell, and like most of the charts I was showing you, all of them proceed to go higher. Every single one proceeds to go higher. And that's one thing that I've noticed. So maybe I hold longer, maybe I widen my risk, maybe I don't know what to do, but I feel like I always go in, it doesn't work, so I get out and I don't look at it. Like this is the one that I actually was a little upset about what I should have saw. So this one, if you look at it, $16 is where it was supposed to be at. So $16 right here. This candle that broke it was less volume than the average volume on the day, and I should have noticed that. The second it didn't break 16 with more volume than everything else, that should have been my key to get back in, because it didn't break 16. It had less volume than the average volume traded on the day. It immediately went straight over. That should have been my recognition to get back in and keep going. And then on the next candle, it was an immediate increase, and those two right there are my top 2. Like they're genuinely my top 2 indicators when I'm looking for a reentry. It's just I have failed to ever reenter. I've never reentered. I don't know why. I haven't I've never reentered at the trade. I don't really know why. But those are really my only trades. Every single one was a winner except for this one. This one was break even.
Hang on, James. Scroll a little bit left on that HX really quick. So you said you don't really look for re-entries, and if I were to trade a first bounce on this, do you see how that bottom line at 16 held at 3 different resistance levels? And then resistance perfectly became support, like you said, down there. That's when you enter. Not at the little line at 17. At the big resistance becomes support at 16.
Right. Yeah, no, I see that. In hindsight. And that was such a good move if you nailed it. Like if I bottom ticked at 16, 33% from freaking $16 to 21. Whew. Yeah, that's after hours. I would have held after hours. I would have kept it.
Well,
yeah, I probably would have. I mean, I don't know since I've never traded after hours, but I think I would have. If not, I would have sold. At high of day right here at 18, probably 16, 18, $2 per share. That's so good. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much I focus on. The only stocks I trade are the ones trading the most volume on the day and the most moving, and that's it. The most important thing to me is volume. That's it. That's all I really care about.
You guys didn't go over the DWAG. Maybe we can just like show the stock.
DWAC? Yeah, I forgot about that one. Actually.
Just like analyze
DWAC.
a little, I don't know.
DWAC, I actually lost on this one. It wasn't much. It wasn't much at all. But everyone knows
Where are
this
these lines
crap.
from?
It was just. Oh, this was from the morning.
Oh, okay.
I thought, I was planning on trading it in the morning, but I was just like, let's see how each level reacts. So I put it at every dollar, and then I was like, that's another problem I'm having right now is I'm drawing a lot of unnecessary ass lines, a lot of them. But yeah, this one I got in at 45. I was like 45.90 something, and then I sold it when it broke 43. And then of course in hindsight it worked, but it was mainly to cure FOMO. I'm gonna be honest, because I was so like every level was a stuff and a reclaim, a stuff and a reclaim. So I thought this stuff right here, we're just gonna reclaim and push higher. But of course,
James,
this was also go ahead.
what was your plan in this one? No, not the plan. What made you enter? Just FOMO?
So it was 12:15. So reversal hour is at 12:30 my time. So 30 minutes before the market closes when longs have some of the biggest edge throughout the day. So I was just like, we might get a push before then. So I got in at 12:15, willing to hold until 12:30. And at 12:30, it wasn't breaking my level yet. And I saw this dip and I was like, okay, here it is. It's 12:30. It's right on time. It went and then it just shot straight down. I was like, what the hell? So I was kind of anticipating reversal hour to give us a good push at the end of day, but I was just too early. And I wanted to trade it because it was amazing all day. And I just wanted to cure the little bit of FOMO that I had. And so instead of just jumping in a random area, I thought that it was going to do good reversal hour. In hindsight, it did, but I went too early is all. And I think I entered way too early. Like what I should have done is the key resistance was 42. The key resistance on this stock right now is 42. 42 right here. It acts as resistance and then it acts as support. So it acts as resistance over here and then it acts as support here. And then it consolidates around it, doesn't really break it too much, and then just goes off after hours. But, I think I was just, my lines were just a little off on this one. I didn't really have any lines up here because it was pretty much every dollar was a line. So I was trying to mitigate drawing a line every dollar. In hindsight, HX was like the biggest mover I've personally ever seen. I've never seen a stock go this high before.
DWAC, not HX.
Oh, my bad. DWAC. Like, look at this. Top tick to 175. Like I've never seen a ticker go this high before, ever. But yeah, those are all my trades for like the last 2 weeks, I think. I don't know if I missed any.
Yeah, James, in order, like you said, you need to stop drawing like more lines. In order for you to maximize the first bounce strategy, key resistance, key support, like you just said. Key resistance, key support, leave all the other lines out of it. And that's how you're gonna that's how you're gonna maximize this strategy.
I agree.
But yeah, just one day at a time,
That's all we're doing, man.
One day at a time, one trade at a time. James, you got anything else before we get into open discussion? Alex, got to add something?
Yeah, James. So what are your like best patterns because like for me they're OTC breakouts for Lance. So they're like this like new pattern. He's like the wage breakout, right? So for you, which is like your
I don't have a pattern. I don't focus on any patterns anymore. I only focus. So late day, I prefer first bounces, but in the morning, like I don't really care. If I see the volume coming in, if I see it breaking key levels, I'll get in. But I genuinely don't have like one setup. I studied the VWAP reclaim, the VWAP bounce. Like I can do those, VWAP first, VWAP bounces, first bounces, and reclaims are the three that I studied. But other than that, like listed longs, when it's a hot chick, dude, there's just not a clear setup every time, unfortunately. So I'm like, if I see the stock is trading well, if I see the volume picking up, if I see it's close to a good entry level, or the top isn't set, then I'm just gonna get it. Like there's not really anything too specific. The only thing I will do is if it breaks out a key level, I will not chase that first green candle. I prefer to get in on that first red candle right after. I prefer to get on that first red candle right after.
So you're just like reacting on the chart.
Exactly. That's all I'm trying to do is just react to the chart. I think there was it Grom yesterday? There was a ticker yesterday. I don't remember what it was now, but it came. So I was typing in my order. It came to my order and it halted $4 higher right after I did not get executed because I just wasn't fast enough. And I was like, damn. But yeah, I mean, it's just hot chick. If I see the stock is doing well, then I trade it. But I'm just purely reacting to the chart now. And then of course, at specific times like at 7:30, I'm looking for VWAP reclaims. Later in the day, I'm looking for VWAP reclaims or first bounces. Yeah, but that's kind of it.
All right, so we're going to good job, James. We're going to get into open discussion now. Whatever's on our mind.
So I'll start with the theme that I've been thinking about for the past like 3 weeks or so, is that I need to trust my setups and just trust myself. Like all those trades that I missed is because I saw that moment when I should have entered, but at that moment I had like a little doubt because I was like, oh, maybe it won't work. But then I also remember Mark Douglas, who says it doesn't matter what the stock does after that, because you have to care what it does at the moment. So I just have to trust myself, just click that enter. And also I remember I talked about how I'm not scared to lose money because like it doesn't matter, just take my $20. I don't care. But the thing is, I'm scared to like have a bad exit, like have a bad trade, not to lose money. That's different. So I just have to, like turn that off and just focus on the trades and just trust myself. It's just so huge because I know that one trade that comes is gonna cover 4 losses. That's all that I need, like nothing else. So yeah, this is something I really need to improve on.
Yeah, I definitely feel that big time. Alex, is that all you got for this second? I'm gonna talk for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you guys know, DWAC and everything made the market super hot for a few hours. If you didn't see DWAC, you've probably never traded a stock before, and that is okay. But that was not my quote. That was from Bryce Toohey. Anyways, so this was, since I started trading, Friday was the hottest market day I have ever seen personally, right? During February, when the market was super hot, I was studying, I was learning all the basics, but I didn't know what the freak I was looking at. I was studying all the most basic stuff. I didn't have any setups or patterns or anything. So I don't really remember February, as that was my very beginning learning phase. I didn't start actually trading until June, which, as if you've been in here a while, as you guys know, June was very slow. So I started in the summer, and I have not seen anything like I've seen on Friday. And Friday really opened my eyes to how much I'm going to have to adapt for when a hot market comes. I knew I was going to have to change some things, but I found out on Friday, as I'm just in constant awe. And my main lesson for when the hot market comes is I became so centered in on Friday on getting the tightest, best exact risk management and not focusing at all on the big picture of where my setup was telling me to get in and get out. I made it so tight. I was like, risk has to be this, has to be this, has to be this. Things were moving, blah, 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 blah. If I have to use smaller size and widen my risk, then that is completely fine. But I was focusing so much on risk management that I took the big picture completely out of my head. And honestly, no hindsight at all, I missed multiple setups that I was drawing lines and everything intraday on Friday on multiple of the hot stocks. And I just missed them because I couldn't get my risk set in the right way. It was to the point where I was becoming so risk averse that nothing else was mattering to me, and I would just let it go because I was just in complete shock. It's kind of like when sometimes traders talk about how they're suffering a big loss and they kind of just get that mental freeze and they have like no idea what to do. For me, it was the opposite. I was so risk averse that my setups were there and they were happening and they were working perfectly. And I'm just like, risk here, risk this. This is moving way too fast. So when the hot market does come for real, and there are tickers doing this all the time, it's important for me to have just as much of a risk management perception as a big picture perception put both of those two together instead of focusing more on one than the other, because they're both very, very important. But if you don't do one of them, you're screwed and you can get destroyed. But the other way, you miss out on all your best setups. No FOMO at all. It's just making them the most of and capitalizing the opportunities that are there in front of my face. So Friday was amazing for me. Like I said, I mean, I ended less than 1R, and everybody's like seeing all these top traders. Like Steven Ducks made $6 million
Oh my gosh.
in one day. Like people were going absolutely insane. And you know, Jack Kellogg made 600,000. Freaking Kyle Williams 230. Mark Crook a lot. Freaking.
I think one day it's fine still.
Yeah, freaking Mariana made 70K. Another one of Tim's students made like 200 and something K. Yeah, and then there was Steven Ducks, and then freaking yeah, dude. Everybody was just either you won big
Even
or you
Madaz
lost
made money, bro.
Yeah, even Madaz. Even yeah, but dude, it was just crazy, and it really opened my eyes to, okay, this is the potential of the market, and okay, here's how I need to adapt my setups and adapt the way I think and the way I look at the market in order for the future. And like I said earlier, I said that I would talk about this. I'm making some changes. I started making changes on Friday, but I am making changes for this next week. I am sick of making the same avoidable, stupid mistakes that I've been making for the past month and a half, 2 months. I'm sick of saying that I'm going to learn from it and that I've learned from it only to do the same thing again. I'm done with it. I'm done having the freaking check off criteria on liquidity. I'm done checking off criteria on whether my setup's there or not. I'm done checking off criteria of whether everything is there. I'm done with that. I'm completely done with that. It's important to be selective and objective, obviously, but to think like a professional and not make these same stupid beginner mistakes that I've been making. And I think that this changed like in my mindset. Like, I'm done with all this frivolous BS. I'm done making the same mistakes. I've learned from them. I have more than enough technical and psychological knowledge that I've built up. Time to trust my process, trust my setups, like Alex was saying earlier. And there's no more room for these same mistakes that I've been making. I'm past them. I'm moving on from them. And there's going to be a lot of changes that happen with me and my trading in the next few weeks, in the next month and months beyond. Time, stay in my zone, whatever that means. Just keep not whatever that means to me, whatever that means to you. And yeah, just taking it one day at a time and staying in that zone and making sure that if I'm not mentally there and ready to trade, then I won't. Like even today, or not today, yesterday on Friday, when everything was super hot and running, I was like, guys, I'm taking a 5-minute break. I'll come back in 5 minutes when I get my emotions back under control. And that is something I never would have been able to do a month ago. Like I never would have been able to walk away from the market 5 minutes. But now I'm like, okay, nothing's setting up. I'm walking away. I recognize that my mental state is not where it should be. I'm gonna come back. I came back. My mental state was much better. And it's crazy how much one little break can truly just reset your mind. It's awesome, man. It's truly awesome. And so yeah, just the psychological elements and the technicals, you know, putting it all together, putting all the lessons together, trusting the process, trusting your setup. As Alex was saying, I think we're all in that stage. And yeah, just looking forward for the hot market and how to adapt to it. So I think that's all I got. That's all that was on my mind. I was just rambling a little bit. I didn't take any notes or anything for this episode. So I just knew I had some things to say in my mind. So that's all I got.
No, I agree with that. I agree. I think the only advice I have for this market, which is what I'm getting from a couple of the long traders in MIC, is they're saying just hold a little bit longer, to be honest. Because I asked them, I was just like, what specific things should I do to adapt to this market? They were like, nothing, just hold a little bit longer. That's it. Like hold it a little bit longer, because we now know that these are going to run a little bit more than we think. So that's like really the only thing I'm going to focus on, is just holding just a little bit longer.
Well, we don't know that. Easier said than done.
True.
But
True.
I'm just going to let the chart tell me what to do. You know, like,
well,
that's why I don't like focusing on a setup, because I like to just trade what the chart's telling me.
Well, what I just hold as long as my risk is there, so I
Right.
don't care about it.
Alex will freaking set his risk and just, I don't know, go type an essay while his risk is just set And he'll come back and be
No,
like, okay, it's still above my risk.
wait, no. I can't write an essay. I mean, I can write an essay about the level 2 of the stock, but I can't do anything other than watching the stock. So that's
I
another
got you.
problem. That's another problem.
As an OTC trader, 100%, definitely. As a listed trader, level 2 matters hardly ever. Key levels and when I enter, when I exit. In the middle, I don't care,
So
and that's how my patience is going to
the
get
only
much better.
time the only time I can exit before my risk is, so I had one trade this week that I exited before risk, but that was because I entered in the morning, and then whole day didn't do anything, and then power hour started to what is it, a downtrend. So I was like, well, that's not what I want, because if I bought it in the power hour and then I had the risk below, then okay, but I had a risk from in the morning and all day did nothing. So yeah, I just sold before because if it broke the low day, that was my risk. It could have just dropped like a lot. So I was like, why? It didn't even have any chances of breaking high day or anything. So that wasn't even a good setup. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where that ties into what I was saying earlier with making sure that you have equal amounts of risk management in the big picture in mind. Because you have more of one than the other, gets out of balance, gets out of whack, throws off your whole trade plan. So that's how it is for me. That's how I interpret that. It can't be too much of one.
I agree with that.
Okay, so I think that's all we got. That's all we got on our minds for now. I know I brain dumped this episode. I know I had a lot to say. James and Alex gave a lot of great information there. So yeah, that was awesome. We're just process, every single day, one day at a time, one trade at a time. And we're looking forward to see if the past few days of market action and high flying volume is going to bring more traders into the market in the next weeks and the next month. And hopefully the hot market can come in a little bit earlier than late November, December, like how we think it will be. So, hopefully this isn't just a one and done type deal. But without further ado, that's all we got for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Any lessons you learned or anything that you're going through in your trading, leave that in the comments below. We love reading about those. And so yeah, that's all we got. We will see you guys in the next week of the episode. And yeah, we're just taking it week by week, day by day, trade by trade. And yeah, that's all we got. So thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace out.
Looking for it on the first bounce. It was.
Oh my God! Again, this chart, bro.
It was a pretty good spike right here.
Wait, James.
Can you see it?
Let Alex teach you how to do finger swim for a second.
Yes.
What I do?
On the top right, you have to click auto.
See, I don't like auto. I don't like that.
Why?
Because it's weird.
No, not this. No. See, under patterns.
Under patterns.
That thing, under patterns.
Thing. Oh, this thing?
Yes.
Auto.
Yeah, but I don't like it because it
Why?
zooms in like that. I don't know. I just like being able to move the ticker.
Okay.
I just like being able to zoom in,
Okay.
So it's just me.
Also, Lance, do you want to talk about college?
Do you want to talk about college?
In the end, just like I don't know, like
might get a little rowdy and a little passionate about this conversation, but I guess we could do that. Yeah. Alex, you look like you wanted to say something.
Well, we can talk about things that distract us from trading.
Do we want to do that in this episode, or do we want to make it a whole different segment within the coming weeks of, I think we should do that.
Oh, what's like doing an episode about that?
I think we could definitely make a full episode about non-trading stuff. I think we could
easily.
Oh,
easily.
Or we could just like do quick trading stuff at the beginning and then have the rest of it just be like that.